Assalamualaikum and good day. I wish to Dr. Ang. My name is Nur Nabila binti Rozizan and my metric number is 157031. For today's speech, I'm going to present a topic: euthanasia should not be legalized. Have you heard about euthanasia? You may not hear this term as this law is not legalized in Malaysia, but is legalized in many countries such as Australia, Colombia, New Zealand, Belgium, Spain, and the Netherlands. What is meant by euthanasia? Euthanasia is medically assisted suicide in which a physician takes an action to deliberately induce death in the patients. In countries where euthanasia is legal, patients who are terminally ill or experiencing intense pain with no hope of recovery may choose the way they will die, whereas through euthanasia and with their consent. According to headline, euthanasia involves voluntary euthanasia and involuntary euthanasia. Voluntary euthanasia is assisted suicide with the patient's consent and he is seeking help from a physician or doctor to end his life. Moreover, the patients also fully understand what will happen to him. For example, the process taken by a doctor for the patients who choose euthanasia is by giving a large dose of a drug called barbiturates. This drug will effectively make the brain slow down to a point where it stops telling the body to keep the respiratory system working and breathing ceases. Finally, the patient will die slowly and painless. Furthermore, involuntary euthanasia involves someone else making the decision to end the patient's life. For example, a patient who suffers from brain death does not show any hope for recovery. In these cases, the family members usually make the decision to end the patient's life by stopping the oxygen machine or giving drugs to end his life with the doctor's consent. People have debated the legalization of euthanasia for centuries. Many countries do not legalize euthanasia as it brings more harm than good. Euthanasia should not be legalized because it declines the medical care offered in hospitals, opposes the value and human rights, immoral, and lead to misuse. First of all, euthanasia declines the medical care offered in hospital. As we know, hospital is a place of hope. The patient go to the hospital with the hope that they will recover from their illness and live a normal life. A hospital is also a place where research is done in order to find a treatment and medicine for an illness. Can you imagine if euthanasia is legalized in our country? There will be less research done on an illness, which will lead to less treatment and medicine produced due to the patient choosing to end his life rather than curing. As the result, the patients who suffer from the same illness will not get treatment and medicine as there is no research on his illness. Moreover, before a medical student becomes doctor, they will take the Hippocratic Oath where they are compulsory to protect and no harm. This oath considers doctor to help their patient as much as they can with the use of all treatments and medicine possible to save a life. This oath is obviously against euthanasia as euthanasia needs the doctor to assist a suicide with the consent or unconsent of a patient to end his life. Thus, euthanasia challenges the authority of a doctor and declines the medical care offered in hospitals. Secondly, euthanasia opposes the values and human rights. As we know, a human is given one life and we should live our life to the fullest. As long as we are alive, we will always have the opportunity to make a change. Taking the life of another person should not be rationalized, no matter what the situations, even with the willingness of the patient itself. Human life is worth more than anything in the world and should be protected under any circumstances or situation. For example, if a patient who suffers from stage 4 cancer with no chance to be cured chooses euthanasia to end his life, it should stop. This is because there will always be a way to lengthen the lifespan of the patient, such as palliative care, while giving comfort to the patients. In this case, palliative care can be conducted for this patient where the patient is given a comforting treatment, relieving pains after chemotherapy, and giving emotional supports until the patient dies with the will of the God. During this palliative care, the patient is proven to have a longer lifespan than expected by the doctor. Thus, the patient may have more time to spend with their loved ones. Thirdly, euthanasia is immoral. Taking someone's life is considered immoral by most major religions in the world. Most religions prohibited suicide, even euthanasia, as it is against the will of God. For example, assisted suicide or euthanasia is considered to be murder by Roman Catholics and is not to be condemned by the church or society. Moreover, for Muslims also, euthanasia is strictly prohibited. This is because as a human, we do not know the exact time we will die, and only with God's will we will die. We should not take any action such as suicide, as one of the biggest sins is Islam. Furthermore, the Hindus also consider that euthanasia will affect the balance of life and rebirth. Euthanasia is said immoral also because it challenges the authority of a person who has a religion. This is because every religion teaches all the devotees to appreciate life and become a good person. Thus, euthanasia shows immorality. Lastly, misuse of euthanasia. As I explained before, euthanasia also involves involuntary euthanasia where someone else decides to end the patient's life. For example, a patient who is in coma for a long time. This patient may be unconscious and he cannot decide for himself and needs the family member decisions on his treatment. The doctor may never be sure the motive of those pushing a patient to undergo euthanasia. The family members may have bad intentions with the patient and choose euthanasia to end his life. As a result, the patient is unable to receive any additional care and has no hope for recovery. Therefore, legalizing euthanasia would empower the law abuser. The public may have trust issue towards the medical authorities. The doctor may misuse the power of euthanasia towards the patients. In conclusion, euthanasia should not be legalized as it declines the medical care offered in hospital, opposes the values and human rights, is immoral and may lead to misuse. As I explained before, it is proven that euthanasia brings more harm than good. Taking someone's life is not manpower but only with God's will. We should appreciate the life that God has given to us and always try our best to improve our life. No matter how hard a situation is, there will always be a way to solve it. Legalizing euthanasia will only serve to diminish the value of human life and leave it worthless. That's all from me. Thank you.